In this season of The Big Talk, you are going to have access to the most incredible speakers who recently performed at the virtual showcase, which is the culmination of the Big Talk Academy, my 12-week signature speaker training. Be sure to watch every single one of these speakers in this series because they are all equally as inspiring, entertaining, and powerful. And by sharing their important messages, they can change and even save a life. Enjoy. Sharyl West Loeung is a speaker, preacher, writer, and DEI educator who loves spending her days with college students, helping them discover belonging in a diverse world. She's also the co-founder of Cardia House Consulting, which focuses on mindful reframing of difficult conversations by practicing compassionate and generous communication. Please welcome to the stage Sharyl West Loeung with Finding Our Way Home.
It was the best day with the best friends in the best city. Seated at a table at 54 below, you could not wipe the grin off my face. I had been waiting for months to see one of my favorite performers perform, and he was on that stage singing his heart out about his crippling anxiety, and I could not have belonged in a place anymore. I caught my friend's eyes across the table, and she knew it too. At that moment, all was right with the world. This was going to be our year. The next morning, I was sad to leave a place that felt like home, but as usual, I coped by just making plans to return as soon as possible. And so I would come back that summer, probably see another show. On the way to the airport, I caught a glimpse of what seemed to be the first reported death due to COVID. I got to the airport, got through security, picked up a New York Times, and there I read Gina Belafonte's article, How Panicked Should New Yorkers Be? Needless to say, I didn't go back that summer. 2020 didn't feel like anyone's year, and home, no matter how geographically close, felt like a miserable heartache away. Our stories, though different, are eerily the same from here. We missed birthday celebrations and anniversaries. Easter dinners, Seder meals, and iftar feasts were eaten alone. When and how we gather has become a matter of public health. And I have to wonder, do we really want to return to our traditional gatherings at all? They've become, if we admit maybe they always were, so stressful. All the logistics, the arrangements, the expectations. We've all been looking for meaning in some way or another in our holiday seasons, religious or not for some time, but none so apparent as the birth of Friendsgiving. We are a people so desperate for meaning making that web searches for the term Friendsgiving actually spiked after a Bailey's Irish Cream commercial. That's right. In an effort to sell the substance that most people may have been using to actually get through the holiday season, they accidentally created an alternative one. I think it could be a sign that we have a problem with our traditional gatherings. That is, if you have anywhere to go at all. And this year, due to COVID alone, more than 800,000 seats in the US, tables in the US will have a missing seat. One of them is mine. We were once lulled into the numbing rhythm of yearly norms, annual traditions, family holidays, expected events. There's nothing wrong with any of these things, but when these occasions became obligations we couldn't say no to, our calendars looked like a jazz score that until a global pandemic broke the rhythm. Then we couldn't go back. We couldn't go home, not to a place or a feeling of familiarity. And now, if we want to find our way home again, we have to decide if we want to remain passive participants or if we want to see if maybe there's another way, one where we might gather at a table as our truest selves. The turn of the calendar year tends to bring about a particular kind of meaning making, one that I will say it was no different for me in the 2019 to 2020 calendar. So just enter my New Year's Eve. So I have a close friend, and she has a fairly new long distance partner. And that partner had a best friend that was part of the package deal. Okay. Then there's our 5 kids combined under the age of 7, and my antisocial partner that I was not going to let get out of this one. Sound like a party? Oh, it was a Dear Abby letter waiting to happen. But we gave the kids just enough sugar and timed their crash just right, so that as the new year rang in, we were alone when my always thoughtful friend asked, "What are you most grateful for in 2019? What are you glad to see go? What do you hope for in 2020? How can I support you in your dreams?" New Year's Eve party isn't supposed to have a 5th wheel, oven baked pizza, and minions. The table was still covered in the kids' gingerbread frosting and runaway jelly beans. And this is what she asked. I don't do vulnerability very well. And yet I knew somehow this is what we were supposed to be doing. I felt at ease. I felt at home. It may have been New Year's Eve when we gathered, but I understand what the fuss of Friendsgiving is all about. When we set our own tables, we can find our way home. When we set aside the social obligations, when we set aside the expectations of ourselves and others, when we just show up as awkward, as tired, as unsure as we happen to be, we invite others to do the same. It's going to take some counterintuitive changes to how we think about our tables, though. It's not enough to just offer hospitality. Look, I'm from Texas. I'd like to think I know a thing or two about Southern hospitality by proxy. It's really nice. Everything is taken care of. Everyone puts their best foot forward, not their real foot, but their best foot. You're always the guest. You're always the guest. It's why you can have a satisfaction survey in the office or on a college campus, and people will say, "Yes, I feel welcome here. No, I don't belong here." See, hospitality implies that someone else owns the table and you're allowed to sit at it occasionally. Belonging means you're in the kitchen getting messy too. You're preparing the food. And when it's time, you help set the table and you take your seat. In case this is starting to sound a little like another Bailey's commercial, let me just say, we have to talk about the hard stuff, but it's only hard because we don't talk about it. And we don't talk about it because we don't know how to talk about it. We don't know how to talk about it because we don't talk about it. But what better way to practice than elbow deep in stuffing or with a little sauce in the beard? It's hard to be mad at your favorite sous chef when you know that this time next week, next month, you're going to do it again because the table isn't going anywhere. When it gets really hard, we have to be okay when people tell us they don't feel like they belong. When our institutions, our organizations, our families are exclusive, we need to say why. When we feel excluded, we need to say why. Poet David White explains that to feel as if you belong is one of the greatest triumphs of human existence. Then to say when you don't belong, you're already on your way back. You're already on your way home. We can't keep telling people that we didn't push them to the margins. We can't keep saying that we didn't mean to. That response is as dry as bad turkey. It's time to ask real questions. Give real answers. We can start with, what do you need to belong here? Tell each other, I love you. I got you. Come set this table with me. Bring your best dish to share, but don't even think you're getting out of doing the dishes. When we can set this table together, then we're finally home.
If you desire to be on the virtual showcase stage, hop on over to thebigtalkacademy.com and register now for my 12-week signature speaker training, where you can become certified by the Big Talk Academy and perform on my virtual showcase stage. And if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button and notification bell, and definitely share your thoughts in the comments. I will respond to each and every one of you. Big love, everybody.